Welcome to Writing for Your Web Visitors, brought to you by Agency ND. Did you know that nearly 80% of users scan each page rather than read it? Even newsletters. On average, it's said that users read only half the information on a page that contains only 111 words. Other studies show that they read only the first 3 or 4 words in a typical paragraph. It's our job to make it easier to find the information they seek or to accomplish the tasks they want to accomplish. There are a number of websites, books, and articles about website usability, and especially about writing for the web. We've put together a short bibliography for those of you who are interested in learning more after the program. Next, we'll go to a test that was recently done by Jacob Nielsen's Web Usability Group. It shows the results of small changes to content that made a big difference in usability for the readers. Here's the first paragraph they tried out. You notice that it has a lot of words, a lot of numbers, and it's kind of like a list within a paragraph. There's a saying in web writing that says, kill your darlings. In other words, no matter how well you write for print, for web it's different. Web visitors aren't here to admire your fine writing. They want answers or action. They don't want hyperbole, such as internationally recognized attractions, or without fail. They want simply the facts. Here we have too much text, too many numbers, and too much hyperbole. This one's a little bit better. They cut out about half the text, and it improved the usability by about 58%. But what's the point here? Would I really want to read all this? This one's a little better. They use the same language as in the first one, but they put it in a layout that's much more scannable. This allowed a 47% usability improvement. But again, they still have the hyperbole, and they have too many numbers. This one's probably the best. It combined the 3 improvements in writing style. It's concise, it's scannable, and it's objective. Whether or not I care about what it says, I know where I can go to read what I need. This one scored 124% improvement in usability. So what did they do that was so special? First, they knew their audience. Are your visitors students, parents, faculty, prospective faculty? What about their education level? Why are they coming here? Don't take anything for granted. Anticipate questions and answer them so they don't have to ask. Will it make sense to them to organize your information by categories such as how your department is set up? Or will they look for information in a different manner? Remember, your website is not the center of their universe. It's just a website. So how do you do it? First, you put the important stuff first. You write in an inverted pyramid, putting the most important information at the top. Your first heading and your paragraph should tell your visitor what the page is about and whether it's of interest to him. Review your content on a regular basis and do it in a so what frame of mind. If your visitor doesn't care about the information you have on there, get rid of it. Get rid of pages, paragraphs, information that isn't needed. Remember, every piece of content must have a purpose. And don't repeat yourself or provide information they already know from the heading or from the menu. Will your visitors know your language? These are Kiwi terms from New Zealand. I'm sure some of our terms would mean just as little to them. Braces are suspenders, lemonade is 7-Up, and sticking plaster, why that's a Band-Aid. But what about acronyms? CSC, for instance, could stand for Center for Social Concerns or the Congregation of Holy Cross. Be sure to identify what you're putting down there. Yes, pictures do add interest, but especially on higher level pages, more than 1 or 2 pictures may disrupt your visitor's experience. Talk it over with our designer before you add more pictures. Keep your file sizes small so as to quickly download. We suggest 72 dpi and no larger than 200 to 300 pixels wide for an average page. When in doubt, ask. And obviously, this one has way too much text and way too many pictures. If you abbreviate certain terms on certain pages, then abbreviate them on all. It's okay to write informally on the web. Just be consistent in your usage. A really good idea is to develop a style guide as you write down your content. Write down all the little style preferences you have and keep it handy so that the next person who works on the website, or even if it's you coming back a couple months later, will remember what styles you followed. What do you want your visitors to do? If you don't give them something to do, what's the point of their being on your website? You could have them sign up for a newsletter, donate, contact us, or simply read your information. But try as much as you can to get the visitor involved. We're a university, and like it or not, people love to find things wrong with whatever we do. So your goal is to make it harder for them. One misspelling that most people aren't aware of is the incorrect use of apostrophes in shortened dates. To remember which apostrophe to use, think of can't, won't, and other abbreviations, which is exactly what 09 is, an abbreviation for 2009. Lead your visitors to the portions of the page they want to see. Break up important items. Use bold or italics to help scannability and lists, and whatever you do, don't put periods after bulleted items. Periods are a stop sign, and it slows down your reader. Avoid long top-level pages. Visitors don't mind scrolling, in spite of what you may have heard, but make sure to save the longer pages for those that the visitors have already opted in to read. Using anchor links can also help visitors navigate those long pages. And it helps to use block quotes, which are kind of like pull quotes in print, to draw visitors into your text. In this instance, block quotes or even bullets might have helped the density of the text. Here's a good example of how the text was broken up into usable portions, and the reader was led to where he needed to go. Especially on university sites, you don't want to use hyperbole. If your competitor or a peer institution can or does use the same terms to self-describe, then those terms will mean nothing to your visitor. Terms such as outstanding, amazing, incredible, world-leading, world-class, or global success. If you use them, be careful and make sure that they are appropriate. Use effective hyperlinks. Instead of click here, type in a description of the link. For more information, download our annual report. Also, don't worry about linking to other sites. By linking to other sites, you establish yourself as the expert, giving your visitor additional information he really didn't expect, and for free. If you have a number of links, consider listing them at the bottom of your section so your visitor won't be distracted by the links as he reads the paragraph. Tables are great for tabular data that makes better sense in that format, but be careful not to overuse them. They can be overwhelming to some visitors. Also, don't use tables to lay out your page. Although this used to be a common practice, it's frowned upon now because it's invalid HTML. They're kind of tricky, they're inflexible. If they're nested, they load slowly, they aren't accessible, they hurt search engine results, and they don't print well. Whatever you do, don't use all caps. Just like an email, all caps means screaming. And while the occasional use of bold or italic lettering can help bring out important information, overuse can be deadly. Think of the boy who cried wolf. When something is a quote, it's okay to surround it by quotation marks. But don't use quotation marks to emphasize or distance yourself from the content. In this case, it looks like you're making fun of Professor Smith. Something to keep in mind when developing your content. Am I presenting it or organizing it or writing it in such a way to help my visitor accomplish his goals in coming to the site? Or will it just irritate him? Whatever you do, keep your visitors happy.